let me start by asking you a question. Give us a wave if you think you could not be manipulated into buying something you didn't want. So if you think you could not be manipulated into buying something you didn't want, give us a wave. Cool. So the rest of you feel you probably could be manipulated into buying something you didn't want. Cool. And Rohan, you feel you couldn't. Rohan, if there was something that you did want, would you think more favorably about buying it?
Yes, if I wanted it or needed it, then I shall go out and get it. But very old-fashioned in terms of, yeah, look, do I really need that item? And then
Got it.
it's a no.
Yeah. So you reckon you'd be safe from the manipulative practices of the unscrupulous.
I wouldn't say safe.
I was going to say, 'cause if you thought you were safe, I've got some bad news for you. Um, Often when I ask that question, often the majority of people say, "Yeah, I couldn't be manipulated into buying what I didn't want." Problem is there. Problem is twofold. Firstly, the manipulators know this. They don't try and manipulate us into buying something we don't want. They seek to manipulate us into wanting what they have. Then they swoop in with a crazy limited, too good to be true, cannot miss offer. That's how they catch us out. And if we think, "Oh, I'm safe, I can't be manipulated," we let our guard down, which means it's even easier for them to subtly get in under the radar. Because if you think you can't be manipulated, you're not going to be on the lookout for manipulation happening, which is why, paradoxically, it makes it even easier for them to swoop in and potentially manipulate us. We've only got a few minutes together. As I mentioned, I've written a whole book about anti-manipulation. This comes from my many years in NLP and in hypnosis. These tools can be used for incredible positive effects for people. But there are also unscrupulous people out there who abuse these same tools to seek to manipulate us. Now, it's not the tool that's the problem. No tool is good or bad. It's how you use it that counts. Like a hammer. A hammer can be used to create many things. It can also be used to destroy many things. And it's the same with these tools. But we only have a few minutes, so I'm just going to give a really brief overview of how this sort of stuff works, just to hopefully get you a bit more open to spotting where some of this manipulation takes place, so that you can protect yourself against it. One of the key ways they do it is by manipulating our emotions, because when we're in an emotionally high, emotionally charged state, all our logic, our reason goes out the window. So if they can manipulate us into a state of high emotion, and then pile the pressure on by giving us an offer that's limited, there's only a few of them, or you've only got a certain amount of time, and if you don't act now, you'll miss out forever. It really piles on the emotional pressure, and that's what gets so many people to buying. Now, remember, it's all a numbers game for them. If they've got access to 500 people, and 5% of people are going to be manipulated into buying the high price offer. That's still 25 people buying the high priced offer who wouldn't otherwise have bought it. It's a numbers game for them. The more people they can do this on, the more people they will manipulate. So even if you're thinking, it's all right because I never fall for it, yeah, you might not, but plenty of other people do, unfortunately. Live events are a big way where this happens. We if I say run to the back of the room, usually we all start laughing and joking because we know, yeah, run to the back of the room. Trouble is, it works. Why does it work? Run to the back of the room isn't the manipulation. It's like the punchline to a well-crafted joke. It's the payoff. All the work happens beforehand, and it's the same with manipulation. In a live event, for example, they might they'll have lots of loud music. Every time there's a break, they'll get you all to stand up. So they're conditioning you to stand up and move out of the room, coincidentally past the sales table every time there's a break. They have the music loud, so if you want to have a chat with somebody, you have to go out the back. So they're conditioning you to, every time there's a break, get up, move past the table, get up, move by the table. They might also do things like near the beginning, they might have something like, we were at an exhibition the other week. We were selling loads of stock there. We've got a few copies of our book left. We don't want to have to carry them all the way back to base. So Anybody here who now runs to the back of the room right now, you'll get a free copy as long as there are copies left. Go on, run, no catch, just run now, grab it. Strangely enough, they seem to run out after maybe 2/3 of the people who ran there got books. They seem to run out at that point. They will draw attention to the fact, oh no, Yanis, did you miss out on that? Oh, you weren't quick enough, mate. Oh, that sucks, doesn't it? I bet you wish you were quick. I bet you're not gonna miss out on future opportunities, are you? Because you weren't quick enough. Oh, it sucks. And they really build up the whole, oh, I missed out because I wasn't quick enough. Seeding that all in. So when the big offer comes, people are thinking, oh, I better go so I don't miss out. They'll use a thing called the pit of despair, which is a really nasty technique where they get you emotionally into that pit of despair about how awful everything is. They might get you going, oh, just imagine what your life's going to be like if you don't change. Imagine if you just carry on as you are, all the things you won't be able to do. Imagine all the ways you'll let your family down, all the things you'd love to do for your kids that you can't do because you haven't got money, because you haven't made any change, blah, 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 blah. Really get you, if they can get you crying, get tears, they're onto a winner. They'll then swoop in with, if you could change that, you would do anything. You'd do anything for your family, for your kids. When you do anything to change that, what if there was a way you could learn how to and then they'll start segueing into their product and get you seeing, oh wow, this is the answer to all my dreams. And you're in that pit of despair, feeling that you're letting everyone down. They're throwing you a rope, which just happens to be, run to the back of the room, sign up for our course right now. Don't hesitate. If you don't run now, it'll sell out and you'll be like Yanis, you'll miss out and you'll feel awful. The pressure there, the emotion that they're really playing on. They might also do things like they'll tell people, hey, look, we've got to move quick with this course. If you've got questions, we haven't got time to take them here, but go see one of my crew. They'll give you the answer. You think, oh, this is brilliant. So you go to one of the crew with a question. They'll say, I don't know the answer, but I'll find out for you and I'll get back to you. Go back to your seat. I'll get you and have the answer. Later on, tap on the shoulder, turn around. It's that crew member saying, I've got the answer. Don't want to disturb everyone here. Come up to the back with me. I'll give you the answer. So you go up to the back with them, have a great old chat. It's brilliant service. If you looked around at that point, you might notice several other pairs who are standing around doing exactly the same thing. If you were particularly observant, you might notice that you're near where the sales table is. And if you were paying some attention to the person on stage, they've already launched into their sales spiel at this point. And they will draw the audience's attention. Hey, look, I haven't even announced their price, but look, there are already people up the back there having conversations. I don't know how many of them are actually going to buy, but hey, you do not want to miss out. There are already people there. Come on, you don't want to miss out. Really piling the pressure on. Nasty, manipulative stuff. Unfortunately, it works. And that's just one of the many ways in which we can be manipulated. It happens a lot at live events. It happens in advertising, happens on web pages. They'll use that whole missing out thing. Have you ever gone to a web page and there's a little counter on there that says 3 left, 2 left. Strangely, if you refresh the page, it goes back to 3 left. Or the same if there's a countdown timer. Or you go to one that says, oh, limited offer runs out in 12 minutes. Just pause for a minute. What's the chances of you just happening to hit that page 12 minutes before the offer was going to run out? Crazy, right? Obviously it's not. And yet, because they manipulate us into wanting this stuff with their clever copy in the advert, we see that counter going down. Emotions high, logic goes out the window. We think, right, I better buy this before it runs out. There's always going to be other opportunities to buy this thing. If you feel you're being pressured, whether it's a live event, whether it's a web page, whatever, if you feel you're being pressured, go on, buy now, you last chance, blah, blah. Take a step back, realize you will always have another chance to get that price. Do you really want to buy it? Or are they trying to push you and manipulate you into making you want to buy it? Just something to think about. The more you become aware of this, the more you'll start to spot these red flags. And the more you'll see those as a sign, step back, calm it down, and just think, do I really want this? Take all the time you need. Come back to it later. It will always be there. Hopefully that started to give you a little insight into how they manipulate us. Love to have chats with you more about it. or check out the book. But either way, anti-manipulation, it's time you took back control of your buying decisions. Thank you.
Fabulous, Keith. Yeah, and it does. You're right. Even for those who know they don't want anything, I guess the one that gets certainly switches on and gets me thinking the most is those when you see the timers, and I know they are. I know they're false. I know it's gimmicky, but you do. I can physically feel it. That says right. Buy this today or within the next 24 hours before they get 50% off. And you do thinking, I know I don't need it, and I know if I come back in 48 hours, I'm sure. But it does heighten them that sense and does it's I think it's a great ploy from them to really boost that sort of, do I really need this now? Can I wait 48 hours? One trick I found, I think it was with Google Mail, who buying a Google Mail email address, they were and still are notorious for this, and they'd say, buy this now, and we'll give you 10% off, and sure enough, if you left it for 3 days, I think it's exactly 3 days later, then they give you another one at 50% off, and the longer you left it, the cheaper it was, the cheaper it got. So some false, but some great ones out there, that's for sure. Does anybody else have a question for Keith?
Just a comment, really. What you just said there, Rowan. A lot of the magazine subscriptions work that way, don't they? I remember the Bass Player magazine doing just that before they went out the window. But they'd offer you, when it came close to your renewal, about 6 weeks away, you'd get offered 10% discount on the year if you renewed. And then if you ignored it, a week later, you're offered 15. And then, like Rowan said, if you just left it till after you've passed your renewal date, they then came back with 50%. And they did it every year. So I just waited till I lapsed. So and then renewed. Or took out another year's subscription. And they also had offers as well. When they gave you the 50%, they gave you other stuff. So you could have a couple of months free and stuff like that. So if you just ignore them. Yeah, a lot of magazines work that way, I think. I found.
Some of the pricing things that you're taught when you do marketing are very much based on this. I briefly talked to Keith about it last week. I was always taught, especially with pricing up options for people, you have like your cheaper option, your mid option, and your expensive premium option. And the way I was taught to do it was that the most expensive premium option is only a tiny bit more expensive than the mid option, so that people look at it and think, oh, I'm going to get much more for my money if I go for the premium one. And I'll come away from that thinking, I don't know whether that's manipulation or just psychology. And I haven't made my mind up yet, but I'll just order the book, so I'll let you know when I've read it.
There's probably a very fine line between the two, actually.
Yeah.
A question I got when creating the book, people say, well, what's the difference between persuasion and manipulation? Isn't it a very fine line? And I would say there's a huge gulf. And the way to figure it out is, if after the sale is completed, if you're happy to chat with a person and explain exactly what you did during the sales process, then you are simply persuasive. If you're thinking, no, I don't want them to find out what I did, they'll think I just tricked them into doing it, that's manipulative. So if you're happy to be open and honest about, hey, look, yeah, I've got these things priced up, this is how I'm doing it, then yeah, you're using psychology, using persuasion. But if you're going, no, don't tell them I did that, oh God, no, it's manipulative.
Right.
But what did you do to get Keith to buy your book?
He did
I just stood up and talked for 25 minutes.
But then I bought the book too. So
there you go.
If anybody else bought the book whilst Keith's been doing it? Yep.
Oh, thank you.
Not yet, but I've possibly just been manipulated into doing it.
If you feel you're being manipulated into buying it, just don't buy it. Simple as that.
Aaron's bought a snowball mic as
sorry,
well.
sorry, that was an attempt at humour.
I know, Lee. I know. Don't worry.
I bought the snowball mic, so next week I'm going to sound exactly like you then, Keith. With that.
That's going to be weird.
Poor lady.
it come with a free bow tie
Great
as well?
stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe it should. Maybe it should.
Yeah, there's a marketing opportunity there.